I hope you all can hear me. I do have a big booming voice, but this is for the folks out in the ether. All right, if you'll all stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me. Pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, in an order of housekeeping, we have a warrant that needs to be addressed here that is time sensitive. Madam Clerk, could you read the warrant? Did I catch you off guard? Sorry.
We have a warrant in the amount of $323.
I can't.
Mike's on. Mike's not on.
It's on.
Hey,
Am I good?
you're good.
We have a warrant of $343.31, which represents a tax bill that is due prior to the end of collection on March 31st. And that covers, I believe, an easement on Elise Drive.
Yes.
I will need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Outstanding. Now that we have that out of the way, we can get to the actual business at hand here today. We have a public hearing on parking during snowstorms. Madam Clerk, can you read the notice?
Notice is hereby given that there has been introduced before the town board of the town of Warrant, New York, a local law entitled "The Local Law amending the town's vehicle and traffic code with respect to parking during or after snow events." Please take further notice that a public hearing will be held by the town board of the town of Warrant on March 26, 20 at 7:25 p.m. at Walkill Town Hall, 99 Tower Drive, Building A, Middleton, to consider the adoption of the aforesaid introductory local law. Any resident of the town of Walkill is entitled to be heard upon said introductory local law. Such public hearing copies are available for review at townwalkill.com, or hard copies are available at Walkill Town Hall, 99 Tower Drive, Building A. Town of Walkill make every effort to assure the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and or reasonable accommodation to contact the town clerk. By ordering the town board of the town of Walkill, Louise and Brasty, town clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, just a quick history lesson for those of you who are just joining us. The town has, over this past year, had a couple of instances where we've had to call a state of emergency for snow removal because we've had a rather robust winter. I think we can all agree on that issue. Consequently, though, there are some ancillary issues that develop when there are large piles of snow for long periods of time on the roads, specific to traffic and parking on the sides of the roads. In an effort to get out in front of both the states of emergencies declarations as well as manage the traffic mitigation issue, the town has reviewed and thought to perhaps put forward an amendment, not an amendment to a law, a new law for the town code to address parking during winter seasons on the side of the road. What I'm going to do right now is open to discussion on the dais really quick, Councilman, so that they can give their comments, and then we're going to turn the mic over to the floor for comments from the floor. We'll start with Councilman Coyne.
So not much to add here, other than I was always under the impression that we had a law. Come to find out it's never been written, but it was like a unwritten rule. Announcements would go out that, people not park out in the roads overnight. It does cause big issues for our DPW trucks. They're massive. And what ends up happening is you end up getting your with the right amount of snow, you'll get your car plowed in essentially. So it's not good for the town. It's not good for the residents. It's not good for the owner of the car. So this is good to memorialize it. And yeah, we'll have something to follow now.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Councilman Slayo.
Yes, thanks very much. I did think that this was already in effect, and it makes perfect sense to ratify it, and also to make sure that all of our neighbors know that this is in effect.
Thank you. Councilman Vanilla.
Good evening, everyone. Again, we all thought this was on the books and it wasn't. So basically, this is gonna be like some type of enforcement that's gonna be done if the car is left out on the street. where we would either summons it and or tow it, correct?
If necessary.
If necessary, right. So again, very big trucks, if it's a lot of snow, they might not even see the car. And then there's major damage to the plow, to the car. We don't want that. So this, I believe, needs to go forward.
All right, thank you very much. Councilman Johnston.
Thank you, Supervisor. Not much left to say, other than really on Ward 4. It's not a whole lot of that for us out there, but, you know, townwide, it's definitely important. You can't plow a road when there's a car in the way, bottom line, especially like in roads that are much narrower and there's houses on either side. Put a car on either side, you can barely get a snowplow through it. So the idea is to have the roads clear for the residents, right? This is the best way to move forward with that. So that's it.
Thank you very much from the dais. All right, turning the mic over to the constituents. Feel free, if you would like, to approach the dais and the podium and just tell us your name, your address, and any thoughts you might have on this local law proposal.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yeah.
May I interject?
absolutely.
It's responsive to some of the comments here and may be helpful to the public. I think it was perfectly reasonable to expect that something like this was on the books, and it's because there is something on the books that talks about prohibiting parking on certain sides of the streets when there's a certain amount of snow accumulation, which is about snowfall. But I think one of the things that folks were noticing is that when there's a lot of snow, sometimes you have a similar need to have that kind of enforcement just because of the snow management that you're doing. You have so much snow that it's not about how much snow fell. It's about the fact that you have to move snow around. And sometimes it's, as you said, folks up here on the dais said, you're burying cars or you're potentially hitting them. So this would add a provision that would allow that kind of enforcement, specifically when there is what this says is whether as the result of natural snowfall accumulation during a snow event or as the result of necessary snow management results in snowbanks of greater than, and here in this draft of the law that folks can comment on, there is a blank that perhaps Michelle may want to comment on, or if you continue the public hearing, you know, we can get input on how high should that be? Or should it just be a general provision? You know, that says if in the estimation of, you know, highway, it's necessary, that kind of thing. So that's why the law has been drafted and what the distinction is between what's already on the books and what this is proposing.
Thank you very much. Again, I'd like to open up the discussion to the floor.
How you doing, Kurt Knoll? I don't care either way. I'm just, it's great to have laws on the books. I'm curious, Steve, you touched on it a little bit. I'm curious about the enforcement of this. Are DPW drivers going to be calling the police when they come across a car like this? Or is our sheriff, our police force going to be driving around in these storms looking for these cars? Laws are great as long as you have a way of enforcing it, right? So I'm just curious about the enforcement of this.
Mr. Noel, I'd like to answer this. So as of right now, the first time we wanted to enact this was when it was a state of emergency. Being that it was that, we did not have the capability or the knowledge to bring the law enforcement in the DPW trucks and or go out with law enforcement prior to the snowfall hitting to give people warnings. So this is going to allow us to allow law enforcement to go with the DPW in the trucks, and if they see it, cite the truck after that. Prior to that, I believe law enforcement with code enforcement will go around to the neighborhoods and give people the warnings before the storm actually hits. That's what we're looking to do.
Okay, yeah, I think the law is great. Like I said, I'm just curious. I didn't know we had the police resources to have them driving around in the DPW trucks. But if that's the case, that's great. That's a good enforcement place. Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Nobody online. All right, very good. I think we can close the discussion here, but we'll leave the conversation open. I believe there's a minimum time frame. Did I do that before? Is that
10
necessary?
days, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Usually leave it written comments.
Yeah, I would suggest there be some discussion or some comment on that blank, so to
Sure.
speak, and then once I fill that in, you just need at least 10 more days for the next meeting, and you'll be able to adopt.
Excellent. So make a move to leave this discussion open for, we'll say next 14 days.
Yeah, and then I'll
For
reach
written
out to
comment.
Michelle and get other comments from Highway, et cetera, and
Very good. So that's the motion.
So I'll second the motion for 2 weeks of written comments,
Very good.
public hearing statement.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you very much. Let's move on then, shall we? We have a couple presentations that are happening this evening. The first of which is by Greenlight, who is an internet provider who would like to present to the town.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Vince Scarabicchi. I'm with Greenlight Networks, Community Outreach Coordinator. I represent multiple different areas, one in which including the Hudson Valley. So obviously, Greenlight Networks, we're a fiber internet provider, similar to what you would see out of a Spectrum or a Frontier internet. We're another option that's open here in the town of Walkill. So if you can flip the page. So you can go a little more down. So there's a little bit history about Greenlight Networks. Founded June of 2011. We are based in Rochester, New York, focused on serving residential homes and small businesses. And Community Choice Awards market we serve, ranking the best internet provider in multiple different areas. Rochester, Binghamton, Buffalo as well. We've won awards, and so that's just a quick little synopsis about Greenlight Networks. And here's our consumer report data. As you see, this is our consumer report ranking of internet providers. Out of 42, we are ranked number 1. This is a ranking back in August of 2025. As you can see, some of the other competitors of and other providers that are available here in the Hudson Valley. As you see, Frontier, Spectrum, and Verizon also here present. So as you see, with Greenlight ranked number 1, I have all those competitors. So it's a quick little synopsis of how fiber optic internet works. When you go ahead and place an order, it's directly from the telephone pole to your home. So it's a little bit different from a Spectrum or Verizon where it's satellite. So this one does require a little bit of construction, where a field tech, we have very talented and well-known field techs will come do the drop. As you can see, it's on the telephone pole to the box. You can see on the side of your home. I'm right there. Typical electric box you can see on the side of any home that runs the fiber optic cables directly into your home, into your router ONTs. And what that does is fiber optic is powered through light, and you can't get really anything faster than light. So you're going to have a more stable, fast, reliable internet service in your home. Okay. So now look at the community benefits. Obviously, huge fiber optic internet is really the future of internet right now. It's really what you can see even a lot of the big players, Spectrum, Verizon, Frontier, they are switching more towards fiber powered. It's not really fiber powered because they still use a coaxial cable. So fiber optic becomes a really growing necessity as internet becomes more of a necessity in communities. Same with fiber optic, which is a more reliable and faster option. Increases property values up to close to 4.9%. Supports local placemaking initiatives, and as well, we here in Orange County Greenlight Networks, we have, as Orange County as a whole, we've invested over $33 million in construction builds and drops in fiber optic cables. And as you can see here in Middletown, Walkill combined, it's $12.8 million here we've invested in different passings along in the region. And also, we're not just a provider, we like to partner with local communities. As you can see, I've worked with Luce quite a bit. You can see us with a lot of different community events here in Walkill. We've been present for the truck or treat. We've been present at the field days here at the mall. So we also look to really get more involved with communities so people can really trust us. That's where we like to be. Obviously, we're looking to expand more in the Hudson Valley. As you can see here, the current communities we do serve, obviously here in Middletown and Walkill, Goshen, We have just opened in Walden and Washingtonville, and we are also providing service in Port Jervis as well. Here's just a quick little map of where we are in Walk Hill. You can see in your pamphlets is more probably close up, easier to read. So obviously the yellow is where our serviceable areas are in Walk Hill currently. Obviously, it's really a big region of the town. Go down to the last slide. Okay. So here is the exciting part. So as of this week, we have lowered our pricing in Hudson Valley and it goes live approximately 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. So the perfect time to be presenting here. So as you see, our plan started at $30 a month for 300 megabits of fiber internet, and it goes all the way up to 8 gigabytes. So our 1 gigabyte plan is $50 a month, which really kind of goes to show about how reliable, and also is the cheaper option, because I mean, you've heard with other providers where you get price jumps out of how many are you already locked in the price locks. With our service, we have not raised our price, and you saw in like the 15 years we've been a company, we've only raised our pricing one time, and that provided with more service. So you can see here in Hudson Valley, we've recently lowered pricing as well. So you can see those are our pricing, and you can go on to the next page. So this is your role in getting connected. It's very simple. Just like placing an order for anything, you can go on to greenlightnetworks.com, go to check availability, you put your address and your email into the website. And then if you are serviceable, you can go and schedule your installation right from the page. And you can schedule for any day you want, even on Saturdays. You can even include Saturdays as well. So, and you can pick what day, time works best for you, and then one of our council field techs will come and hook you up. So, any questions? I know I kind of ran through that quick. So, yes, sir.
You said 300 megabytes is $30.
$30 for 350 megabytes.
Okay,
right
what's
there.
the difference between your 300 megabytes and specs of 300 megabytes?
So
Speed.
our terms of speed, it's fiber. So Spectrum uses a coaxial cable, and we use a fiber optic cable. So fiber optic is powered through light. There's little like glass particles inside. So what that does is it's powered through light, and now so you can't get anything faster than light, and also has synchronized speed. So whatever you download and whether you send out, it's synchronized. So if you run a speed test, you can see with 350 megabits, you run a speed test, you'll see 350 to 350, or sometimes even more. Sometimes with satellite providers, if you get a 1 gigabyte or 350, for instance, you can get maybe 350 or 300, but then your receiving speed can be up under 100. So it's not synchronized. It's really inconsistent. With us, very consistent speeds, whether you're downloading or uploading. Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to make sure you say, so if you get 300 upload, you're going to get the same download.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to add that, understanding that light is 186,000 miles a second, right? That's the speed of light, 186,000 miles every second. So you can't imagine information traveling over the utility lines anywhere near that like it would in fiber optic, right? I mean, that's just insane. That's around the world multiple times in less than a second. I mean, it's crazy how fast you can get information and receive it. That's why fiber optic is so much better and more efficient.
Absolutely.
So I assume as you continue rolling out in Walk Hill, you'll send notices to the neighborhood
Yes.
that you're going into and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so as soon as you start, we do 2 different kinds of construction, aerial or underground. If it is aerial, you'll see like a little sticker on your door letting you know that we're going to be constructing here. I know we're going to be, it's going to be our trucks around. There's going to be obviously standard, you'll see the cones right in front of our truck. So the town will be notified, yes. And you'll also be getting, email. If you sign up, you're getting emails, construction notices, mail sent out, we will give you a sign. Yes, sir.
This construction will only happen at your home if you order it, or is it going to happen regardless?
In an area, it's going to happen regardless. So an installation only happens when you place an order. That's an installation. So there's going to be construction, placing fiber, doing drop-ins, placing fiber optic wire. lines, so that's gonna happen regardless in in the communities. But that's when you place an order, that's when, an installer, field tech will come, they'll install, do the drop. From the pole into your home, and then they'll come in and install the service into your home. That's when you place an order. Yes, sir.
I have a question about your word construction.
Yeah.
Construction to me also equates to obtaining permits. Do you need to get, does the homeowner need to get permits for that?
Do the homeowner need to get permits?
Yes.
No. It's really just like signing up for anything kind of service where you go online, you place your order, and then the permits that come on our side of like going into towns, going into new towns, that's where the permitting comes in. And then that's not so any questions about us getting permits, that's not, I'm just letting you know, that's not my line of work, so I don't know how much I'd be able to help you on that.
But when you refer to construction, you're talking about actually what you need in order to provide the service. Like
Yes.
there's a point of construction.
Yes.
That allows you to provide the service in that.
Yes, it's
neighborhood.
called a POPs, it's called a
Right.
POP site.
You're not talking about the construction at an individual's house. That's just an installation.
That's, there's no construction that happens at the home. The most you'll see is just, you'll drill some holes. Touch
Yeah,
it,
I kind of figured so, but I wanted to.
yeah, right.
You had mentioned, full service and then you have in-ground service. Have you expanded to underground services yet, or?
Yes, we do underground services, yes, when it calls for, yes.
All right, are there any other questions? Well, very good. Thank you very much for your presentation.
All right, thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
everybody, appreciate it.
Thank you.
We do have a second presentation on the docket for this evening. I'd like to call up the conversation around the Midway Bridge, please.
Thank you. My name is Matt Hunt. I work for Creighton Manning Engineering, and we work for DPW, trying to rehab the Midway Bridge over the Wallkill River. A little bit of background on the bridge. It's a 4-span bridge, approximately 350-ish feet long. There was a rehab done in 2017, which provided a concrete overlay on the bridge. And if you've driven over it any time recently, you know that did not work well. There's a lot of potholes on the bridge itself. So what we're doing on our project is we intend to replace the entire deck, which means remove the concrete and the railing and then place all new on the beams. When DPW got funding for this, which is 95% federal funds with a 5% match, it was scoped as another overlay. Through our evaluations and assessment, we've determined that the full deck replacement is the most prudent path forward. Mostly, the evidence is out there now. The previous one didn't work. So it's our view that the full deck replacement is required. Right now, we're in preliminary design, and the schedule will take us through toward the end of the year, where we intend to put this out to bid. Contractors, they'll get our plans, submit their bids, and then the lowest responsible bidder will be selected to do the work, which again, we expect to take or to happen next year. And there is a asphalt concrete plant on the south side of the bridge, which typically drives over the bridge to get out and hit 17 and 6 and everything. So we're aware of that, and we intend to move the project forward as quickly as possible, possibly even starting during the winter when they're mostly shut down, to try to minimize impacts, the economic impacts to that. As part of the project, we do not need to obtain right away from any private property. The work itself is limited to the bridge, so we aren't going in the stream either. We don't need to get environmental permits, so the impact to the environment will be pretty low. The contractor will be required to make sure that no debris goes in the stream and things like that. Going back, again, new concrete deck, it'll be a little bit wider to bring it up to standard. We anticipate putting concrete barrier on it because of the truck traffic, again, from the concrete and asphalt plant. So it'll look a little different, but functionally, it'll bring it back up to basically new condition up top. which should stand up to all the truck traffic that there is. I believe that's it. So, the construction schedule, we anticipate will be 4 to 5 months. So again, if we can start in the winter, say March, to remove the deck, then by the time it gets warm enough to pour concrete, we can get that done and hopefully finish up like very early summer. Questions?
What, do you know why it failed? I mean, it's less than 10 years.
We think it just didn't bond correctly. So if you don't have proper surface prep, and the other thing, it seems like, not to get too technical, but there's obviously reinforcement in the concrete. So one way to make sure that it bonds is to go underneath the reinforcement, so that, you know, you're pouring new stuff underneath the rebar and locks it in. We're not sure if that happened. But either way, you could just say that the bonding didn't occur. So now it's basically splitting apart and just it breaks apart. And you get the potholes.
So, and that was done like 10 years ago, you're saying?
Yeah, 2017 is when.
And what would be the normal lifespan of something like this? Was this done incorrectly?
I can't say if it was done incorrectly. I could say that it didn't bond well, whether that's material or installation, I couldn't tell you. But something like that should last 25 years. A new deck should last 40 years at least, probably more.
So I don't know if this is for you or the board or Michelle. Are we going back to the company that did this? I mean, maybe they've gone bankrupt. I don't know. We've gone back to them and have said, yo, this was just done 10 years ago. Life expectancy is 25 years. What the heck are you gonna do about it? We have, and
Yeah, we had in the past, they did attempt to make some repairs, they didn't hold. Like Matt said, the bonding just didn't occur and there's no way to correct it.
there's nobody correct without tearing it down and starting all over.
Yeah, we were able to secure a grant, so they're paying, the state, federal government's paying 95% of this cost.
Yeah, so I thought I remembered that the grant was like 4 point something million too, 4.3, 4.4.
Correct.
Why are there only 3 point, whatever this is in here,
So there's,
3.6 million that were that's being allocated for here?
yeah, the total project cost is 4.2, which includes our design fee as well as construction inspection. This goes through New York State DOT, which requires full-time inspection, so we'll have somebody on site every day during construction. So the remainder is paying for all of those services.
The remainder of what?
The difference between the 4.2 or whatever it actually was and the 3.6.
Is being paid for by who?
That's part of the overall project funding. So 95% federal, 5% local.
95% of the 4.3 or 95% of the 3.6?
The total 4.3.
95%.
That's what it is.
Okay. Thank you.
So just to add to that, the engineering component is the remainder from the 3.7 to 4.3. So basically, what is that? $600,000 about is the cost for all the other parts too. The construction itself is at 3.7. So to replace the deck, tear off is the 3.7. The administrative cost around that, including engineering and site inspections and all that kind of stuff, is the remainder of the 600,000. That's why you have two different numbers. And as far as bonding, if you really understand concrete, when you pour concrete and it's wet and it's bonded, it's locked up, right? 95% dry in 24 hours, but then the last 5% is forever. The longer it dries, the stronger the cure. When you resurface it and put another layer on, it's only the strength of that layer. So if you have an 8-inch concrete slab, right, that's structurally 8 inches of concrete with the rebar and structure. If you take 3 inches off to address the potholes and put it back on, it's only the 3 inches that's holding the other stuff up. It's never going to lock up as one 8-inch slab again. So it's never going to work. I mean, it will temporarily, like it did for 10 years, but there's no way to lock them together unless you had, rebar at that point that was down in and sticking up. It would help. But, this is getting truck traffic from big trucks daily. So, a 3-inch slab is not going to support that. And that's the reason you have to tear it down to the supporting structure to put a whole new deck on.
And all the engineering work that's being done, this is being done with this outside firm.
Correct. Yep.
Is there a weight limitation on that bridge currently?
It is not currently limited in weight.
Fire truck can go over it?
Correct. Yep. Part of our evaluation was determining what the low capacity is today, and then making sure that when we make modifications that, it'll still be non-invasive.
I'm sorry, one last thing. So you're expecting that bridge to be closed for 6 months-ish?
Plus or minus, yeah, that would be worst case. Ideally, it'd be more around 4 or
And,
5.
and where would those giant pets trucks
Yeah,
go
thank you. I
instead of
skipped
that
right over that.
bridge?
Thank you. So we will have to detour. Again, we're working with New York State DOT, to confirm some of these things. They had concerns about putting additional trucks on 17, which is kind of silly because that's where they're going anyway. If they're going north, they're gonna probably get 17, but whatever, we'll have that discussion with them next week. But anyway, the signed detour, we anticipate is going to be starting on the north end, East Main Street, Golf Links Road, then go over to 17M, Hartley, Cheechunk, Owens, Phillipsburg, which then leads into Midway. We have coordinated with the town of Goshen. Half of those roads have a 5-ton posting right now. They were amenable to passing a resolution to temporarily take those restrictions away so that we can use that. And part of our discussion with DOT next week is to see if they can, instead of doing the sign detour, go to take Cheechunk right over to 17 and get on at, I don't have it in front of me, but get over to 17 right away, hit that, and then they can go, you know, north, south, and then eventually east, west. Once they hit,
Yeah, because the wear and tear on those side roads are gonna be
right.
pretty bad, you know, whether it's 4 or 6 months. It's gonna be pretty bad. I mean, I can see potholes coming up there that we're gonna have to fix anyway.
Yeah.
At some point, so.
Right.
Okay.
All right, are there any other questions? Very good, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, that brings us to the first section of our town meeting where the public gets to participate. This is a 3-minute participation for anything currently on the agenda. Again, we ask that you just come to the podium, state your name and your address, and then you have the floor. Thanks, Luce. Anyone? All right. Oh, yeah, okay, great.
I'll go again.
Excellent.
So I see on the document here on the paperwork at Curtin Hall, 124 Level Road, you have the Silver Lakes Goshtown Culvert listed.
This microphone.
Listed on here as well.
It did.
But was there anybody that's gonna talk to what's going on with that, or are we just looking through the
Yeah,
papers, or-
Commissioner DPW is gonna speak a little bit about that when we get to that part of the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
good, thanks.
Yep.
I didn't break that. It fell.
No, you're good.
We're gonna send you the bill.
I'm sure.
It's on.
That
video.
joke played in my head.
Checks in the mail. Checks in the mail.
Excellent. All right, if there's nobody else, then we'll move on here. Madam Clerk, correspondence at all?
We're gonna lay aside the first resolution, which is the snow removal.
Say that again.
Myself. Thank you. I don't think this is.
I can hear you. You're in it.
Testing, testing.
Yep, you're in
You have
it.
to put it right at your lips, Louise.
Oh, 70s rock star.
A resolution of issuance of $2,768,225 in bonds of the town of Walkville, Orange County, New York, to finance the cost of the replacement of the Silver Lake Scotchtown Road culvert in and for said town. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second for discussion.
Thank you.
So I'm looking at these numbers, and I guess I could let the commissioner speak first, but I don't believe you guys have any plans to do that this year, correct?
Well, it depends on the condition of the road. We want to be prepared in case the culvert fails and we need to act quickly.
Right, but I think we had some structural inspections done with our engineer earlier in the fall. So there was really nothing in the center that was a problem. It was the edges where the water was washing around. Right? So why do we want to use a four-sided concrete box as a culvert when on the same stream at the end of Cottage Street, we have a galvanized arch over the same exact stream with no new tributaries and no new real flow? And the cost savings to that, I did discuss with the deputy commissioner, our engineer, could be done for probably 700,000 to 800,000 as opposed to 2.8. And he would be able to do the engineering along with the company that provides the culvert, where we wouldn't have to spend, you know, 600,000 or 700,000 for outside engineering. And I question the timing. If, you know, the supervisor says we have no money, why would we do this now if we're not intending to do the work right away? When you take a bond is a long-term borrowing note, like a mortgage. You'll immediately pay the interest on it when you take it. And if we're not in position to start the work right now, and I don't think the four-sided box, concrete structure, is the most efficient way to go. I did speak again with John, and I said, listen, instead of putting the galvanized in the water, you do a concrete footing and you set the galvanized structure above the water line. Then it will never get wet and it'll last for 100 years. We'll be dead before that's even an issue. So to spend 3 times the amount of money or more just doesn't seem like the right idea. And I see you got this on here, but I really wish you would have brought this up to, you know, discuss it with the board, because I could have filled you in. I mean, we have, you know, we've been working on this for like over a year. And again, a bond, I can't vote for this because I just don't think it's the right thing to do with the town's, you know, taxpayers' money, you know, to take that bond like that when the job could be done at 1/3 of the cost. And, you know, I understand that you have to have an engineer's letter for the cost to request the bond, but, you know, even if this was a band, which is a short-term borrowing, you know, as opposed to a bond, we wouldn't have to pay all the money initially because we would pay with what we took. You'd have a year, each year would renew, you'd have up to 5 years to lock it in into a bond. So I'm curious as to where this came from, like what was the game plan behind it?
So the game plan was quite literally that there's a concern about erosion. There's also a conversation about how the culvert replacement will tie into the development at Golden Triangle. So that's been part of the discussion. And again, I know that there's been a conversation that's been ongoing. DPW and the commissioner and the deputy commissioner have been reviewing this, and this is what they put in front of us as a remedy. So that's all there is to that. There's no real plan other than if there's erosion on the culvert, then there's erosion on the culvert. I would imagine, and I don't want to speak for DPW or the commissioner, but I would imagine that the robust nature of the culvert was a consideration based on the amount of truck traffic that's going to go over that thing. But again, I don't want to speak for anybody.
But structurally, the galvanized structure would hold the same as the concrete. You know, the question from the galvanized structure, the corrugated, is that, you know, in the water, it's not going to last as long as concrete will. But again, if you use concrete footings on the sides, set the culvert above them for normal water levels, even maybe high flow water levels, except for your 100-year flood, it's never going to get wet. So I think that maybe before we move forward with this, we should examine that as an option and a cost savings. So my recommendation would be to table this for now until we look at the other options.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's some little miscommunication with the deputy. From what I understand, he is not able to engineer this. He's told me he can't engineer this. These are the engineer plans from our.
That's to get the bond. He couldn't do the engineering for the bond because he works here. But he could do the engineering for the project like he did for the steps out front and save us $20,000.
It's not my understanding. So we can discuss.
Well,
this
either way, I just think we should look into this further before we move forward with, you know, bonding $3 million.
There's
If
what
we
we
could do it in a
communicate.
cheaper way.
This is recommendation, but we can talk about it.
Well, I did speak to him about this number, and he was under the impression that this was a bond anticipation note, which means we have a resolution to say we're gonna borrow up to, we're not actually borrowing it. Because we could do the other culvert design and save considerable money. But this gives us the option to borrow it, like you said, in an emergency that we need it. But, you know, that was the conversation I had with him earlier before coming in. I didn't have time to sit down, go over everything, but it was like, he was under the interpretation that this is basically like looking for a line of credit, not setting the line of credit up, if you will. But this is an actual issuance of a long-term bond, like a mortgage. You know, so I don't think this is the avenue that, you know, we should go down. And again, I really wish we would have discussed this, you know, at a work session or something before it came out to the floor. You know, I mean, like I said, I've been working on this for 3 years now, 2.5 years, and, you know, had a lot of information to, you know, to present to you guys, so. It just would be nice to be included in the conversation.
Understood and duly noted. Again, as you noted that you've been in this conversation for a while, I'm new to this conversation. I will tell you that what resonates for me is the urgency based on the deterioration. And the fact that getting into an administrative conversation about bonding in the midst of an emergency might be problematic in terms of executing on the emergency itself. That said, I defer to the experts in the town and DPW and the experts that we hire, the engineers, to provide us the best solution that they think we should consider. But I absolutely understand. And if we so end up moving to table this, that's perfectly fine by me. I'm happy to continue this conversation as long as it needs to be. I do want to just make a point of saying that there is deterioration on that culvert. That is a real thing. And that is not something we should speculate on. So that said, Mr. Coyne.
I hear you, and you know what? If we could table it for a week, we could discuss this next Wednesday. Bring everybody in. The only issue here is that, and Councilman Johnson went pretty specific and detailed, but I guess we were under the impression that we were going this way, and now we're going this way, and it's like, whoa. You know what I mean? And this may turn out to be the way to do it. I don't know, man. I mean, I learned of this, you know, about an hour, well, about 4 o'clock. So I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't think that that's the way we were going with this. So, you know, if we could hold off, we'll discuss it next week.
Sure.
We may end up going the way that we thought we were going, or we may end up this way. Either way, a week, it's not going to kill us. It's just not.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Agreed.
All right. So I second the motion to table.
All right.
Is there a motion in table?
There is a motion on the table, yes.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Coyne.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very
Thank
good. Let's move on.
A resolution authorizing the issuance of $3,705,000 bond of the town of Walton, Orange County, New York, to finance the cost of the replacement of Bigway Road Bridge deck and enforce at town. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Steve said, well,
No discussion? No discussion.
already had it. Yeah, great presentation.
We're good.
Hold on a second, because these names are written in a different order. Mr. Coyne?
Oh, yeah? Yes, but. Yeah, they are all messed up.
I think because it was
Written by the
prepared
bond
by you.
Bonding company. There's, Mr. Saleh,
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla,
Yes, ma'am.
Johnson,
Yes, man.
Supervisor Johnson.
Yes. I'm just gonna chuckle a little bit out loud that, you know, how rigid we are. We go from top to bottom to top.
You're creatures of habit. You know?
I see that. I see that.
Dogs
All
and
right.
cats living together.
Yeah.
My feeds in the same.
Good to
place every
know.
day, you know.
Good
And
to
was it
know.
pandemonium?
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, that's all you had. All right, so we're gonna go a little bit out of order here. We're gonna do department heads reporting and commissioners and police chiefs reporting. We'll start with the assessor's office. I see the assessor here with us today. Thank you very much for coming. You can face whichever way you like to face.
That's-
Yeah,
Face them.
face
I
them.
need to
That sounds
face them.
good. Let's talk to the public.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do.
Microphone.
No, that's fine. Microphone. It's not that I don't want to talk to you, gentlemen.
Oh, no, it's fine. We're good.
I'm touching the microphone.
You're good.
Oh,
It's all right, they'll split the bill. There you go.
The more people, the cheaper it is. That's great.
Good evening, everyone. I don't really want that. Anyway, I'm the assessor for the town of Walkdale, Lisa Lespinera. My March report is basically that the tentative role is being worked on currently by my staff and I. And that will be available May 1st, 2026. All change notices, if there's going to be a change in your assessment, your exemption, so on and so forth, will be sent out to you if there's a change. The tentative role will be available on town and county websites. Reminder, that property tax collection season is ending at the end of March, and please ensure that your taxes are paid by this time to avoid additional penalties before the tax receiver sends her tax rolls over to the county. Reminder, Star Credit registration for new homeowners must register with the New York State Department of Tax and Finance to receive any Star Credit checks. That's different than a Star exemption. If you currently have your Star exemption, that stays into place. But if you want to receive a Star Credit check, you must call the state, which is 518-457-2036. Property tax exemption for disabled veterans update. This is something that we talked about that the governor is enacting. There's been a little bit of an update that's going to be mandatory for all assessment roles, finalizing after October of 2026. And I see we have some veterans in our audience. This exemption will apply to the 2027-2028 school taxes, as well as the 2028 town and county taxes. What the eligibility requirements, as we've been told as of yesterday, it will qualify for an exemption for a veteran who meets certain criteria. They must have been discharged veteran under qualifying conditions as defined in Veteran Service Law 1, which will be sent to the assessors from the state. Just discharge must not be dishonorable or due to bad conduct. So obviously an honorable discharge. The disability and assistance criteria must meet the following criteria. Permanently and totally disabled as a result of military service, rated 100% disabled by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, classified as individually unemployable by the VA, has received or is eligible for financial assistance from the United States government, such as VA specially adapted housing grant used to acquire or modify a residence for disability-related needs. So your property requirement is as such. You must reside in your home. It must be your primary residence. You probably currently already have a 458A, which is a veteran's exemption. You can still apply. If you don't, once this becomes mandatory, you come into my office, you apply for the exemption, you bring in your paperwork, and you go through the motions with me, and you get it on the exemption status, and you get your exemption. If you have any further questions, you can contact myself or the staff, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, or just call 692-7810. That's all I have for everybody. I hope I didn't go too fast.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We're gonna go back in and you like, if you have any questions, come see us.
All right, very good.
And that's Bill, my assistant assessor.
Thank you very much. All right. From there, we're gonna go to buildings.
Hi, good afternoon, actually, or evening, actually. The building department, for the month of February, now has been. We issued 122 permits, 63 certificates of occupancy. We collected $56,684,000. We held 29 complaints and completed 701 inspections during that month. Next month, the building department is going to be rolling out the short-term rental permit application for Airbnbs and Verbos. This is to ensure the fire inspections are completed at these residents for the transient people that are renting these folks. So if anybody knows of any Airbnbs or Verbos in the area, please email to billing at townofwalkville.com. This is something important. We did have an incident last year where there was an electrical hazard in one of these residents. And luckily, no one got injured. The people showed up, dropped off all their stuff, went out to dinner, came back, and the house is in flames. So this is very important. It's a fire safety issue, which is very important to the building staff. This is what we do. We worry about things like this. So if you know anybody, we're gonna be rolling it out next month. It's gonna be a challenge because we don't know where they are. We have an idea, but if anybody helps out, send me an email at building@townofwalkville.com. Also, I'd like to congratulate Herb Dolson. He transferred from Building and Grounds last year to our department. He was required to go through 6 tests through the New York State Department of State. That's roughly about 130 hours worth of training. He was just passed his last test yesterday. So now he's fully certified to be a building inspector, and he's gonna be helping me out with the short-term rental program. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to Herb. All right, let's go to DPW. Madam Commissioner.
The highway department is currently working on pothole patching with the cold patch. The blacktop plants are not open yet. They're anticipating opening about mid-April, so then we'll switch over to hard patch. They're taking some core samples on York Road and Silver Lake Touchdown Road, so they can determine what the base looks like, so they can make a plan forward on fixing those roads more permanently. They're gonna be going back to do some leaf cleanup the first full week of April, weather permitting, to clean up what we missed in the fall. We got snow. The Saturdays, we're starting April 11th, from 8 to 12, we'll be opening again for our brush drop off at the highway garage. And our tree truck is back in operation, and we're gonna be doing some tree trimming in the next couple weeks. The Parks Department is opening everything back up now that the weather's turning warm. They just asked to remind everyone that parking is only allowed in designated parking areas. Please don't park on the grass. The pickleball nets are back up in Stephen Avenue and Circleville Park, along with the tennis court net. The restrooms at Stevens Avenue and Washington Heights are not quite open yet due to the freezing temperatures at night, but they will be open soon as the weather allows. To book a pavilion, please call the town clerk's office. And we'd like to say thank you to our building maintenance mechanics, Chris Oliver and Gary Stadelman. Earlier this week, we lost heat in the supervisor's suite. And with $68 in parts, these 2 gentlemen were able to repair everything and get us up and running without having going to an outside vendor. So great job to Chris and Gary. Water and Sewer is working on flushing the hydrants. They're scheduled for April 13th through the 26th. That includes the private hydrants as well as the fire department's training on hydrants. We have this posted on the website and on our social media accounts. The town's water meter project is in full swing. We're asking residents to call and make appointments to get their meters changed. The water and sewer department is taking the old meters apart and scrapping all the components they can, and so far they've already recouped $20,000 for the town. While they're doing the flushing with the hydrants, they'll check out all the hydrant conditions and make a list of things that need to be repaired or replaced. In the DPW office, we've been working on a few grants. We've applied for some wastewater treatment plant upgrades through Senator Gillibrand's funding allocation. Orange County Tourism Grant to assist with the 4th of July celebration. And most recently, an Orange County Municipal Legislator Grant through Legislator Janet Sutherland for some new soccer goals at Washington Heights.
Thank you very much. Let's go on to the police. Chief.
Thank you, Supervisor. I don't know if we changed the microphone.
Yeah, they're not working well.
Down.
It's a little rough.
Let's do the volume.
Push the volume on the bottom.
I guess it's on and off. I guess it's on and off.
We have to get the AV squad on that.
We'll work on that.
Wonderful.
Use your outside voice.
Generally, we're trending upward in most enforcement categories. Parking summonses are up 57% year to date. Moving summonses are trending upward, and arrests are up 16% year to date. Odd thing is, I talked about this at the last town board meeting and previous community council meeting. It seems the years flip. It seems like 1 year we trend upward in all categories, the other we trend downward in categories. So bad news for those committing crimes and speeding and parking illegally in our town, but trending up this year.
Police Community Council meeting is gonna have its next meeting on April 2nd, represented here by Sal Lucido, Vice President. It's gonna be held at the Community Center, as mentioned, April 2nd, 7 p.m. Our guest speaker will be none other than Town Supervisor Frank Danto. The supervisor looked back when you spoke. It was around the same time during your first term. And it was around the same time of year, and I was wearing a short sleeve shirt, you know, considering that the heat was out in your office and it's been rather cold. I'm hoping that you speaking at the community council on April 2nd will change the weather for us.
Well, I don't know about that, but I can say there'll be a lot of hot air, so.
You
Should
did
be
a
nice
great
and
job
crisp.
last time. The bar was set very high by you, so we're hoping for a repeat performance, which we're confident you're going to do. Our Police Youth Coalition meeting, or the next Police Youth Coalition meeting is scheduled for 7 p.m. on April 21st, also at the community center. By the way, Fox did a great job on that shop. They're really wonderful, great improvement. We just attended the Women's Day event this past weekend, along with several other events. It looked wonderful. At the last meeting, I talked about our mobile response team. Was so proud of this unit. It was fully funded by a grant. It allows practitioners to respond to cases involving emotionally disturbed people that don't warrant the response of a police officer, or cases we've already responded to that don't necessarily warrant the response of a police officer because this person may be in need of psychological services and they don't meet our criteria, whereas they pose a threat to themselves or imminent threat to themselves or somebody else that would warrant us taking them into custody. Our mobile response team has been training with us for the past 6 months, using our new virtual reality system, which we received through generous state grant. It provides a virtual 3D training that we use towards embracing a de-escalation protocol when you deal with people who have emotional disturbance issues. The mobile response team has pitched this. I didn't know this entity existed. They have an annual conflict con, taking up the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
It's in Atlanta this year, and our mobile response team, the civilian component, the practitioners have been designated as presenters at this event. So there's gonna be a proposal coming forward. I believe they're gonna sponsor one of our officers. It's gonna be Sergeant Jeremy Warner, who's our senior ranger officer, to attend this event. I would go, but August in Atlanta doesn't sound very appealing. It sounds rather hot. So was it in August? I was in December. I remember I'd be going down. So
They do call it hot Atlanta.
they certainly do. And August is a tough time to be there with all the humidity, but nonetheless, we're very happy with this. I'll be sharing details of this event as it gets close. So this past weekend, we had an initiative at the Galleria. We had a heightened law enforcement presence there, not just us, but our partners in state police and the Orange County Sheriff's Office. This was in direct response to a broad social media post that claimed that youth were going to take over the mall. Based on our intelligence resources, the mall takeovers, most recently in the Bronx and Washington DC, and I believe another one in New Jersey, I'm not certain which county it was, proved to be very violent encounters where significant property damage was occurred, multiple arrests were made for assault and other serious offenses. We in the town of Walkville are not going to tolerate that. When we got wind of this event, we partnered with Galleria, who have a wonderful working relationship with the management and security staff there. And we put forth a very significant presence at the mall. We deterred many youth from coming in. In some cases, youth were able to slip around our methods of preventing them from coming in. And in 4 occasions, youth refused to leave the mall and fought with officers, and they were subsequently arrested and in charge of juvenile delinquency. Nonetheless, our intelligence sources and the mall are continuing monitoring events and taking up again. We're gonna have the same reaction. It's not going to happen here. We're not gonna have hundreds of youth coming to a town, destroying property and quite frankly, scaring patrons away. Admittedly, and I had this discussion with members of the town board, it was last night with the flyer at presidential container. There had to be at least 50 people that came up to us and saying thank you for having that heightened presence there that night. 2 even invited us to sit down and have dinner with them at a Fuji restaurant. Obviously, we declined, we were working. But it was so nice and refreshing to hear that. And quite frankly, obviously, it showed it was needed. This Saturday is going to be a No Kings protest. We've done these before. We have a great relationship with the organizers of this event. Our goal is to protect people's First Amendment rights. People have the right to protest whatever they want under the Constitution. But in all seriousness, we'll be out there in force ensuring that nobody disrupts people's right to present their First Amendment arguments. DWI enforcement, our department has been very active in many years. We've received many state grants. This year, for the second time in a row, police officer Mason D'Alessio is being recognized as the top officer in Orange County municipal police departments. Mason does an excellent job for our department. He's been with us for years. He's going to be a great asset, and he's on the ascent going forward. And I say this over and over again. As a matter of fact, in his high school yearbook,
he put down, he wants my job, that's his goal.
That's what he always said.
But it's okay, he's a police officer, he hasn't even taken the sergeant's test yet, so I'm safe for a couple more years, but once he starts taking those tests, I'm gonna start keeping an eye on him. But in all seriousness, the supervisor and I know there's gonna be attendance at the event, on April 15th, and we'll report that, back on that. I'm also co-director of Office of Emergency Management, along with Dylan Gracia, my co-director. Last night we had a fire incident, several members of the town board also, pitched in and responded. Presidential container was rather significant. Our fire department did a great job. They always do. Then overwhelming response through mutual aid. They called in many local municipal agencies and brought in a extensive amount of equipment, and they put water on the fire. That's a term I learned last night very quickly. And OEM, from my perspective, did a great job also helping the fire department out. Child Abuse Prevention Month is in April. We are partnering with the Orange County Child Advocacy Center. As a matter of fact, in front of our police department, there's a pinwheel garden, just was installed today. So if you happen to be coming by the police department, hopefully a good reason, you know, not you want to hire arrestees this year. But if you come by for any reason, please stop by and take a look at what we posted at social media. The Child Advocacy Center does a great job. We've used them and worked with them on many serious cases of child abuse, neglect, and maltreatment, where they come through and help facilitate services for children. Next to last, Speedway is hosting a Diesels of New York event on April 4th. So the first one they had several years ago presented a problem for us in the town because they were underprepared or ill-prepared for the significant amount of people that were in attendance with respect to parking. They had one person collecting cash only, parking cars. They had 5,000 people come in the morning to the event. They were unprepared, ill-prepared. They've gotten much better with the events that occur twice a year. We've been working with them. We anticipate their continued success and continued cooperation moving forward for this event being smooth like the last 5 or 6 have been. And then lastly, I had the privilege of being invited to and attending an art show at Garnet Medical Center on March 12th. It was hosted or the group being recognized as the Middletown Art Group, and none other than Dana, who attend a lot of our community council meetings, happens to be here tonight. Several of her works were featured. She's quite talented, as with many of the other artists at the event that evening. You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, that brings us over to the councilman's comments. We'll start with Ward 1. Councilman Coyne.
Okay. I'll be very short, very brief this evening. April 4th, Easter egg hunt at Circleville Park. 10 a.m. It's always fun, and Easter Bunny will be there, from what I'm told. April 11th is opening day for Little League. Now, I've been looking out for their, parade that happens every year, but I don't see any information on it. But it's going to be April 11th. Usually it's not line up at like 9, step off at 10, games to follow, but keep an eye out on Facebook. They'll end up posting about the parade, but that is definitely the date that opening day will be, weather permitting, of course. And the last thing I want to bring up is right before the meeting, I spoke with a constituent and he asked me if I could bring this up. An experience that he had where he put a check to pay a bill in his mailbox, put the flag up, went to bed kind of thing. Somebody stole the check. And basically what they do is they put a piece of tape over your signature. They wash the check, but whatever, they wash the check and then refill it out at a much larger amount to themselves. And that's a scam. It's a local scam. I know, Sal, you're here and you talk about scams all the time with the Police Community Council. And the ones you talk about are like, people calling and things like you reaching out to you over the internet. This is kind of a local thing. Somebody walked by the man's mailbox and, so. In Queens.
In Whitestone, what they do is tell you guys all the fun things that we learned in Queens. Up here, living in the country for 3 years. So it happened to me, Con Edisonville. I put a check in the mail with the top portion of the Con Edison. It was the mailbox is right on my corner.
Yeah.
It's like the USPS. I don't know if anybody knows, it's like the blue mailboxes you pull down. In Queens, they're on corners too. pulled it down. It's called mail fishing. They put a mouse loose trap inside.
Yeah.
And they get your mail as you're mailing it. You don't know what's in there.
Yeah,
They got our check. They whitewashed it.
yep.
That's what they call it. But there's a special pen by, I don't know if it's Inkjoy, there's a special pen that you can use to write out your checks that they can't whitewash.
Okay.
I can get you the name. I probably have it home, but they got us for like $12,000. And what a
Wow.
battle.
That's huge.
They would give it to us. We went to hell.
I would think, I would think that, you know, your own mailbox in front of your own home, you'd be safe, but
It should be, but
You
you
know.
know what? You see a lot of peculiar individuals that will, I see a lot of theft going on, packages.
what do you got, Sal?
I did a thing on the scam, and you cannot even put the mail in the mailbox in front of the post office. You've got to go inside.
Yeah,
And then you run the risk of the.
yeah,
you
being
be-
fished out, like, yeah,
The employees are.
that's interesting.
Mark, thank you. According to the state police, what's happening is people leave their mail in the box overnight with the flag up. So you're giving the criminal an idea of what's in that box. He knows there's something in there. They washed the check with acetone or nail polish remover.
Okay.
And Middletown, the Orange Trust Company is that they've had numerous incidents with this happening locally.
It's very big.
So there you go, be on the lookout, and, if you have to mail the check, a lot of banking and stuff is done online nowadays, but Sal will tell you they get your money that way too, but anyway, wanted to bring that up, and I guess we all learned something here tonight, that it's happening more often than we know locally. So, protect yourselves, that's all.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. That's very informative. Councilman Slayo.
Thanks very much. Very appreciative that regardless of what the calendar says, today actually felt like the first day of spring, and thanks to all of you for coming on out for this. I had the pleasure of meeting with the water department, water and sewer department head, Rob Woligrowski. I knew I was going to butcher it. And so much appreciate how gracious he was in the time that he gave me and giving me a good understanding of the department and some of the challenges. And I certainly had a feeling of how important it is to the town, especially moving forward with developments. Also had the pleasure of attending the Silver Lake Fire Department annual dinner at the Town of Walpole golf course. First responders, of course, especially high on my priority list, our appreciation. I got to see their camaraderie amongst themselves on an evening of some fun and recognition. Also, a very important note shared, I felt, by Chief Mike about some of the challenges and the seriousness and how there is no stigma and must not be one felt by those needing help. And PTSD is a very serious thing in that line. Very proud of a favorite uncle of mine who was in that line of work his entire career, and know deeply what they do to protect us. My own neighborhood, protected by Silver Lake Fire Department, with a house 2 doors away, went up in flames. But thankfully their work let her return to her house. It took a year, but really enjoyed that evening and getting to meet those folks and want to see them again with more pointed questions of what we can do to assist them do their jobs. And also attended the Women's History Month celebration at the community center here in town. Wallkill was very proud that our DPW Commissioner, Michelle Baker, was also recognized by those in attendance, and it was a lot of them. Thank you.
All right. Councilman Vanilla.
Good evening, everyone. A few items I wish to share with everyone. Yes, it was a nice tease today with the weather. Of course, I think it's gonna rain tonight, right? Being that it's getting warmer and with the hour shift with time, with the sunlight, kids out playing, including the adult kids on motorcycles. I'm one of them. Please keep an eye out so we don't hit them with vehicles. April 1st is Passover. I want to wish everybody out there a happy Passover. April 5th is Easter, wishing everybody also a happy Easter. But April 4th is our town's Easter egg hunt at Circleville Park. Starts at 10 a.m. And towards the end of this month, we have Earth Day, which is being celebrated on April 25th. At 8:30 a.m. is the start. Please contact Town Hall so you can sign up with your councilman and do some beautification around town. And get everybody have a great night.
All right, thank you very much. Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I would just like to start and say, thank you for tabling that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Oh, no, very funny.
So, thanks. I wanted to follow you with the golf stuff.
Yeah, come back.
I just wanted to say a couple of things. A lot of people have reached out to me about the potholes and the commissioners on top of things. And, you know, we do have 64 square miles in the towns. There's a lot of roads with a lot of potholes. We'd just like to ask if it'd be possible to fill the ones in on York Road with some millings or some item 4, because they're bigger than a car, size-wise, length-wise, and, you know, 4 to 6 inches deep. So like, I can't even go down those roads with my classic cars. Like, it's really, you know, we could just fill them in until we do. I know it's gonna be a while till they get there. They did go out, cut around the patches where they're gonna repair them, but if we could take care of that, that'd be great. And just an understanding with potholes. The water is the problem, because water is a substance. It's not like any other. Usually when you heat something up, it expands, and when you cool something down, it contracts on a molecular level. But water happens to be densest to 4 degrees C. So 4 degrees before it freezes on the Celsius scale, it's as small as it's going to be. So when it freezes, it expands. And that expansion is something that, you know, there's no structure we have that can hold. If you fill any kind of pipe that we have, plastic, copper, concrete, steel, it'll blow it apart. I mean, that's why the footings in your house are below the frost line, because it'll actually lift up your house. So to put it in a blacktop roadway, it doesn't take months to break that apart, because that is nowhere near the strength of any of those substances I've already mentioned. So the problem is the water. You really need to do the drainage underneath. Give any water that's there a place to go, so it's dry, and then when it rains, you know, if it's sealed, the water won't get back in there. You know, so to really fix the pothole, like you'll see out there, they actually cut a section of the road out, or will cut a section of the road out. And then, you know, they'll fix the sub-base structure, and the blacktop is just like the icing on the cake, and everything underneath is what's going to hold up the load and stuff. But it is the water that's the issue, and the freezing temperatures, right? So that's why it's March or potholes. You don't get them any other time of the year, because you don't have the moisture in the sub temperatures at night above freezing during the day. So that's why you got your potholes, and they will take care of, get them fixed, and then they'll be good all summer until next March, and they come. So, I just would like to thank everybody for coming out, and as always, you know, great job by the town board. Always tries to do the right thing for the town and all of our professionals, and I just wanted to thank that, and all of our employees, as always, they do a great job. You know, water and sewer, parks, the police department, highway. They work very hard to make our town what it is, and, you know, we wouldn't be here without them. We're just sitting up here making decisions. They do all the hard work. And, you know, Easter's coming, Passover's coming. I hope you have time to enjoy your family and your friends, because that's what it's all about. If you don't have that, you know, if you don't have that time to spend with them, you're missing something you can never get back. So please take the time and spend it with your family and friends.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, well, I'll try to be brief too. Much of what I had to say was really covered. Again, happy Passover, happy Easter. Please come and join us at the Easter egg hunt. Just a quick reminder for those of you who are interested, and I guess a few of you are, April 7th is my next Spill the Tea event. So come at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. here at Town Hall. Hear a little bit about what's going on in terms of the working process, and thought about trajectories, and more importantly, you get an opportunity to chime in and tell me some of your thoughts. We did touch base on Earth Day. That's actually a really important thing for me. I'm a big environmentalist. I started out in this gig hugging trees and trying to stop lumberjacks from chopping them down in old growth. Now here I am. But that said, Earth Day is really, really, I think, one of the greatest opportunities for you to acknowledge your own environment, your own neighborhood. And so we are pushing forward on doing a cleanup event. And I believe Councilman Vanella said, get a hold of us here, Town Hall. join the crew on that day. Little elbow grease goes a long way at cleaning up some roads in some neighborhoods for sure. Don't forget Touch Truck coming up. I know May seems so far away as we just crossed the threshold into April or almost. But May 9th, in Circleville Park, we will be doing our annual Touch Truck event. Again, it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. is a quiet hour for children with sensitive hearing. Of course, we will be graced with the presence of course, our DPW equipment, but there'll be a number of other interesting apparati. I'm sure the fire departments will come with their stuff. I believe at some point there was a helicopter there. So it's a real fun event, especially for the young ones. So please, by all means, make a point if you've got little guys and gals to bring them out and have some fun with us on that day. And then, of course, lastly, this is coming into the summertime, but Juneteenth, I just want to give a shout out. On June 19th, the town will be doing a board presentation. It'll be out on the lawn, and there'll be some music and some dancing and some poetry. It'll be quite a nice event. So that's something good to look forward to for the summer as well. Usher in those wonderful summer hours as we get closer and closer to the 4th. So we are doing an event on the 4th of July, big event this year because it's a big year this year. So we will be putting together bits and pieces of that in the next coming weeks. If you have ideas and no ideas off limits, send them our way, send them my way anyway, and we'll put it into the hat for mulling over. We want this thing to be special. So by all means, please don't be afraid to participate in that. And then lastly, if you have an interest in being involved in a municipal level, we have a couple of positions open on boards, and we would love to get them filled. So I think we've got a conservation commission that is actually not even operational yet anymore. So we need to fill that. There's some other spots happening. I know that we have talked on the board and out in the public about continuing the conversation with the master plan review committee. So I imagine we'll be looking for some engagement there. So if you have an interest, you certainly do. You're here on a Wednesday night. Maybe you'd consider joining us on a different night to help us guide the town as we proceed into the future. That's pretty much all I have for today. I'm going to hand it off to the clerk. Madam Clerk.
So I was focusing on the monthly science lesson.
Yeah. I was taking notes because I think there's going to be a quiz.
But, I didn't have too much tonight. Most of the things I was going to talk about, the tax receiver did let us know that Tuesday is her last day of smiling and taking your money with a smile. But we already know that. Fishing, there's good fishing at Circleville Park, but if you're older than 16, you need a fishing license. And you can get those here at Town Hall. The senior lunch, I don't know that anybody mentioned the senior lunch, which was for St. Patrick's Day, and that was a great day. And I want to thank my friend Chad, who is the manager of Hannaford, and for probably the last, I think, 5 or 6 years, he puts his hand in his pocket and I put my hand in mine. And this year we were a little short on the cupcakes though, so I think next year we're going to need another 20 or so, because when
Who knew that the sweet
when we
tooth
came back to town hall, all the people were like, "Where are the cupcakes?" And we said, "Oh, we're sorry, they're all gone." And then my monthly complaint. We just want people to know that we do have security here at the front door. So if you have mobility issues and you're coming here for accessible parking permit, you can just stop and tell the officer. We have 2 of the same gentlemen who are here pretty much every day. And they are just great people. They are here to help. You don't have to walk all the way to our office. You can tell those gentlemen that you're here. We will send somebody forward to help you. If you just need something simple as a notary, we can send somebody to the front of the building. Because I got very used to the back being the front, and the back isn't the front anymore. And some people tell me that someday it's going to be the front again. But it just stresses me when I see people get out of their car and walk up the ramp and come to the door to see that they can't go in that door. We do open our window quite often and try to cut them off at the pass, and if it's something for us, that we can take care of through the window, we do. But if we could really think about opening that door, it would be wonderful. Maybe instead of having one officer, we could just get another one and they could sit in the back and, I don't know, watch out for bad people, I guess. Other than that, and one other thing, I did see Mrs. Freehill from the Middletown Humane Society last week, and she was very excited and humbled that the park was being named after her. And I told her that I would mention April 10th at Raymore and Flanagan is their semi-annual pop-up bingo, of which I believe the last event they had over 125 bingo players. So if anybody's in that area, I'm not sure of the cost. I think it's $45 if you do it ahead. But they do such amazing things over there with so much little money. So if you're over that way and you want to play bingo, or if you're looking to get somebody a birthday gift and they have everything they need and you want to spend $30, go buy some animal food and take it over to them. Pets Alive is another amazing organization, but they have a lot of funding that the Middletown Humane Society does not get. So if we could help, if you have a chance and you can help them out. They're also looking for people to just come over and walk a dog, sit and pet a few cats. Because they are desperate. They're desperate for funds, they're desperate for help. And I told her that I would pass that along. Hopefully some people will hear that and take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. All right, that brings us to our second public participation section. This again is 3 minutes at the podium. This is on any topic that pertains to the town and or you. Again, I invite the audience to come join us, and all I ask is that you just let us know who you are and where you live.
Thanks, Kurt, for that.
All right, Kurt's our guy today. Thank you so much.
No one wants to talk. I'll talk loud. Thank you again, Kurt Knoll, 124 Live Oak Road. So just a few different things. One, Chief, I don't know if you can shed any light, I don't know if you're allowed to, but I understand there was an incident at Canisic last week where a child brought a weapon to school. And I'm curious, the school isn't saying what kind of weapon it was. I'm just really curious, was it a gun that inadvertently got into some kid's hand or what? And I don't know if you're able to share that information or not.
So we generally don't discuss investigations involving juveniles, especially ones that don't result in arrest. So that was the case.
Yeah, I'm not looking for a name or anything.
Yeah,
Just-
certainly was not a firearm involved.
It was
It
not.
was not.
Okay.
It was not a
perfect,
firearm
Great,
involved. Yeah,
great. Thank you.
and there's been no arrest.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it wasn't a firearm.
It was not.
Good, thank you.
It wasn't.
It was great hearing from the department heads. This is a lot of good information. I'm wondering if we could add the ambulance people to some type of maybe it's not monthly, maybe it's quarterly, where the ambulance folks can come in and talk about the calls they've been on. I mean, our tax dollars are going to pay their stuff now, right? So maybe they can come in and talk about what their stats are for any given month or any given quarter. That might be something worthwhile that people would be interested in.
I think that's a good idea. You know, Frank, instead of them coming to the work session.
I was just thinking
Right?
the same thing. They
Yeah.
might as just as well do a presentation here.
That's a good idea.
That's a great
We're actually
idea.
doing
Thank
that
you.
for the town board. It's
Yeah,
the
but-
contract.
Okay.
We could have them do it at the town meeting.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it'd be great to know, right?
Yep.
So, where, because I know they talked about they were gonna put another building up someplace over on Mark, on your side of our side of town.
That's the
You know.
long-term.
Yeah,
you know.
again, just curious about the stats of, are they making money? Did they need less money, right? Did they need more money? And what they're doing out there. The other thing, so on the potholes, so I'm not sure, I don't know if the guys and gals are just driving around street after street, but I'm wondering if it might be worthwhile or not to maybe set up a phone thing of some sort where people could call in and say, hey, there's a big giant pothole on Jones and Smith Street or something along those lines. So that the bigger, more nasty ones can be handled via something that would require doing something, to getting some kind of phone bank thing, but I wonder if people might be interested in that and think that's a good thing to be able to call in with an issue.
All of our numbers are posted on the website and they can certainly give us a call at any time.
Okay.
Yep.
The rear door has a person that is handicapped. I'm not sure why it got locked to start out for the X number of years ago, but maybe it's because we only have money for one security person, but would be great to have both doors open in the town hall. And then the last thing I had was on the culvert. So who's gonna be doing the work when that is awarded? Is that our people or is that a contractor that we're bringing in to do that work? Who's actually gonna do that work?
Depend on the type of culvert. Mr. Johnson said there's some alternatives that he's speaking to John Dolly about, so.
Okay.
depend on the culvert.
So that's to be determined.
Yep.
Okay, and then the other thing on it, since that is probably considered a major project, I'm guessing, especially for that kind of money. I'm wondering if the county, if we could reach out to the county, the board could reach out to the county and see if maybe the county could fork over some money to help with that construction cost as well. Don't know if that's possible, but I know things have been done in other towns where there's been some money for different things that have gone on from a construction perspective. So it might be worthwhile to reach out to Mr. Scoofus or somebody and say, hey, this is a possibility kind of a scenario. And then, but putting this off, I think is a good idea because as long as we can, but we don't have a bond rating right now, as I understand it. So we're going to be getting this bond at whatever the heck the interest rate is going to be. It'd be nice if we became more, so I know you're doing an audit on the books and stuff. It'd be nice if we became more solvent so that we'd actually get a bond rating, maybe C or something, where we can actually get a better rate on bond that we're actually putting out there to get. And I don't know if there's a way to do a bond. It's like a construction loan. You take out what you need. I think you were alluding to that earlier.
You do that as a ban.
Huh?
You do that as a ban, so it's a short-term rental, and as you pull the money out, that's what you'd be paying on.
Right.
It's yearly. I think you have up to, depending on the project, like this is infrastructure, so your bond could be longer on this one, maybe 15 years, as opposed to like a vehicle might only be 4 years. But this would allow you 5 years of like that construction component until you were locked into a bond. At that point, you would bond the whole balance.
Okay, that's something you're already thinking about, I'm talking about. Okay, great. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else? All right. Very good then. That brings us to the end of this meeting, so I will make, what's that? Megan. Oh, do you want me to wait to make before 9? I got you. Well, I was there. All right, as I was saying, and as I've been coached to do, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.